What's up, YouTube fans? Today we're going to take a look at the Megatank Monocrat, their version of a Megatron. So it's not really clear where this is from. It's kind of its own thing. Its closest place you could probably use it is for a Bumblebee movie display with figures like Bingo Toys, Shockwave, the 3-0 Optimus Prime. You know, those kind of figures are pretty big, and this is a very big figure. But it's not necessarily a design from the movie because we didn't really see what Megatron might look like. But either way, you could fit it in with those characters. Now, it's not clear also if the company name is Megatank or Monocrat. I'm being told that this guy's name is Monocrat and the company name is Megatank because they have a second figure coming, Megatank MT-02. This is MT-01. So we're going to call him Monocrat from here forward. But really, let's take a look at this guy. Absolutely gorgeous looking. He's got some amazing paint details. You can see all the red metallic paint on his abs here, the copper here, the silver paint, more red over here. The copper accents are kind of all throughout. You've got a wash here over the silver parts, and then you got a dry brush over the darker gray parts here, so it looks that weathered kind of look. That copper I mentioned is kind of all throughout the figure, so you got little just details and accents, looks like wires kind of running through. Sculpted detail everywhere. Really just kind of an impressive looking figure in terms of the paint. Kind of reminds me of a 3-0, the style that they do for their movie figures, Bumblebee movie figures, or even their the DLX figures they did for the War for Cybertron. But really nice looking. He's got some nice accessories as well. So he comes with his gun. It's actually not attached in the box. So you basically just fold out this right here, and that fits into either arm. Now, if you put it into this arm, it won't really make sense because it'll be upside down, so you really have to put it in the other arm. It does have a light-up feature, and we'll see this again in take mode, but you press this button right here, and that lights it up, and you can actually kind of see through the barrel, and that looks really cool. Nice little arm cannon here, fusion cannon. You also get some alternate heads. So you get two alternate heads. You get this shielded face, which I actually thought was a blurred face in the image that's online. Only later I realized it was actually shield covering his face. And then you get this one, which is kind of like a really, snarling or angry face. Very nicely done, very nicely sculpted. These do have light up features. So if you gently pull off this helmet here, and it is a little tough to get to. There's a little switch right here, and you can see it's got light up eyes. Now, I didn't replace the batteries. It just came with batteries in both this gun and here. So it might be a little weak. It might be brighter than what I'm showing you there, but it does light up, and it does look really menacing and cool. So to replace these faces, they are on just a ball peg here. You can just pull up on the head. I'll pop it off. And the head actually has this kind of extending ball joint. So if we put this on here, you can lift up the head and it can look way down due to that. And then here's the last one, just the shielded face. This looks best if you're transforming it into tank mode. So we'll actually put that on before we transform it to tank mode. I just want to show you what it looks like there. Pretty neat. But we'll stick with the straight face for now. You also get some screw hole covers. There's a lot of them here. I don't really see a lot of screw holes that are kind of obnoxious or anything. There's some on the inside of the legs. You can see those. There's some on the back of the arms and the shoulders. But for the most part, those don't really bother me. So I'm not going to bother with this. It's there if you need it. But to me personally, you don't really need to put those in. And then the final accessory you get is his sword. Really beautifully done. Look at this. It's got gunmetal, purple, copper, silver, beautifully detailed sword there. It does fit in his hand here. There's a little tab right here. It's only on one side, so you can really have to use this just the one side, but get it into his palm here, close this around, and he holds that very securely, and it's a beautiful looking sword at that. So let's take a look at his articulation. So the head is on that pull down ball joint I showed you earlier, so you can get it down to there, way up. I mean, you can kind of mess up the sculpt, so, but you can still get it way up, and then it rotates all the way around, and you get side to side. So anything you'd want out of that head. If you lift up these shoulders here, shoulder pads, you can get the shoulders up to the side. Nice, strong, tight ratchets everywhere. It really feels like a premium product. Rotation here around. You have a rotation at the mid bicep. It does break the sculpt a little bit, but still, I mean, all that detailing looks beautiful. 90-degree bend at the elbow gets you up to there. Rotation at the wrist. The hands do fold inwards like this, so you can get that in and out. The fingers are individually articulated at 1, 2, 3 pins, and then the thumb is on a ball joint, and it has 2 pins for articulation. So you can get pretty much anything you'd want out of these hands. Very nicely articulated. You have a rotation at the waist, rotates all the way around. You have an ab crunch, it has a little bit of an automorphing where things kind of go inside, and it's ratcheted, so he can hold that pose really tightly. And it does expose this piece back here, so all of that looks really nice. For the legs, you have drop down hips, so they can drop down to there. That'll allow you to get it all the way up to there without colliding to anything. All the way back. You can go out to the side on a very strong ratchet, pretty much all the way up. You have a rotation inside of the thigh. I've never really seen a joint like that, but that's how they did it, and it works. You have a double jointed knee with a ton of cool automorphing features. So, and this is one issue I mentioned later, but I'm just going to leave that out for now. But so you have a double joint here and here, but just watch as I bend this knee. So this bottom one just bends here, but then it starts moving this piece. And then you can see it's exposing this piece. And look at all that. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces in this knee to make that work. That's really, that's like 3-0 level of articulation and just, you know, detail work, that kind of stuff. You normally see that on Transformers like this. Anyway, continuing downwards, we'll get the gun back in there. You have an ankle tilt that goes out to there. You don't have a rocker. You have a toe that goes down. That's due to transformation, but you don't have a rocker back and forth. And for a size comparison, there's next to the MP-36 Megatron. I really don't have anything in my collection that scales with this. It's a very large figure. And if you have the likes of 3-0 or Bingo Toys or any of the Bumblebee movie larger figures, then it's going to go perfectly with this. But here it is with the Masterpiece figure just for comparison. All right, now let's get this guy transformed into his tank mode. Before we get started, I do want to say the instructions they've included here are probably one of the worst instructions I've ever seen, personally. Here's the instructions, and they are just, they're missing steps. It's not clear what they're pointing to. Very, very poor instructions. So I have to give a shout out to Kato's Collection, buddy of the channel. He did a really nice video on this guy and a pretty good transformation. So I used his guide to transform this guy. So you can also go watch his video if I don't do a good job on the transformation here. But thanks to Kato for showing how to do this transformation. All right, so let's get started. We'll start off here with the chest. And I'm kind of standing up and far away, so it might look a little funny. But go ahead and you're going to pull the chest piece here down and away. All right, so there we go. So you want to lift up on this a little bit, and then that'll allow this to come down. Come down to here, and you're going to need a spudger down here too. You can get it in there and then pull this forward. All right, and for now, we're just going to leave that like that, and that's ready to go. Go ahead and take this panel here. That's going to open up. And we're going to take the panel that just popped out of there and open that up. Come to the back here, because we actually need this panel to fold all the way down. So we got to get all of this out of the way. So just go ahead and take this and fold this gun all the way down. I suppose you could articulate this in the robot mode, So if you wanted to use this in a different way, you could. And then go ahead and pull this upwards. That's going to leave a little gap and allow you to slide this downwards. So slide this downwards on that peg, and then open this up, and then leave that there. All right, now that you have that down, that's going to allow you to take this and open this up and give you some space to work. If you don't do that first, then you won't be able to do that. So you've got to open that up. All right, come back to the front here. We're going to take this entire chest and rotate it on the abs. So basically do his ab crunch, but rotate it all the way down. All right, so you've got his abs basically facing downwards like that. And then take this and fold it back up. And this can get tricky. You just want to get this out of the way. So there you go. You have that nice long piece there. All right, so now we're going to take the chest piece here and we'll rotate this 80 degrees to the back. Looks like that. Go ahead and open up these shoulder pieces here. We're going to rotate the arms so that this piece is facing forward, and just leave this like that. And take these pieces and open up the arms like this, and then rotate them around this way. Right? Now there is a collapsing piece right here. So you can see there's a little slot. So you're going to fold the arm over that slot. So you can kind of push that in and get it to fold into itself. All right, so it looks something like that. And so go ahead and get this folded inwards. You should have it looking just like that, with the hand sitting inside of this panel here. Right, and then the head is sitting back here. Now I mentioned earlier, I'll probably just do it now before I forget. You want the flat head or the shielded face. So we'll just put that on there. That's going to be best for the transformation. All right, so come back to the front here. And we got to do the other arm. So we're basically going to take off this. And while we're at it, we might as well transform this. So go ahead and close this tab here. Come to this side, rotate this around. That'll allow you to take this entire thing, rotate it to the top here, so it aligns with this. Take this, fold this forward, and now this is ready to be installed on the tank. So you can just set that aside for now. All right, so we basically have to get the other arm configured like this. Actually, we're going to rotate this, and that's going to basically sit, let's see, like that. So this is how we want it configured. So we're going to do this one off camera, and we'll be right back. All right, now that we have both arms configured, we do have to get them tabbed in. So there's a little tab right here. It's going to go into a slot right there. So get these pegged together. Come to the back here. Make sure these hands are inside. You're going to close down this canopy here on top, and it's going to fit right under the ridge of these pieces here. Right? So now we'll move on to the rest of this guy here. And we have some more work to do, so let's keep moving. So go ahead and take the panels here. I'm going to unpeg these. And let's see, I got to get this out of the way. So you can just kind of move that like that to get everything out of the way. And then open up this panel here. And you can see underneath, this is what's kind of holding all these legs together. So basically pull this out, coordinate it to the outside, and you want this collapsed all the way. The slide down joint, you want that to collapse. All right, same on this side. Pull that out. All right, and again, we're going to do one leg at a time, and then I'll show you the rest. Go ahead and take this one, and that's going to collapse and just sit under there for now. And let's see. This one is going to go inside of here. So fold this at an angle. It's going to fit into this slot, and then this tab is going to go into that slot. So get that all kind of at the same time. There we go. All right, so now we'll take care of this leg. We're going to do one at a time, and then we'll do the other one off camera. They are relatively challenging. There's just a lot of steps here. So go ahead and pull out on this piece here. That'll allow you to lift up on this spring-loaded piece, and then you can just kind of rest it right there. It might get in your way again, but you have to get that out of your way. So go ahead and pull this up. Same on the other side. Pull this out, and this spring-loaded piece can be ornery, and get it sitting down there so it's out of your way. Right. Next, we're going to open up this flap right here, so it just pulls up. Rotate this around, and that'll allow you to rotate this to the back, so it sits like that, and then you can just kind of get this back in, just kind of resting in there. That piece keeps moving on me. All right, so it should look something like that. And now we're going to get the tracks out of here. So that's the next step. So go ahead and pull down from here. You can probably get a thumb in here. So get this folded out. And sometimes this panel here gets trapped in there, so you just got to pull that out. So make sure you get that all the way out. Rotate this around. If it's not clearing, make sure you have this folded up, because you want to rotate this all the way around. Open up this panel here. Open up this panel here. Take these pieces here. You can see how they line up with this. So we're going to rotate that. And it ends up being straight like this. And that's going to end up sitting inside the foot here. But same thing on this side. Rotate that down. And you want this straight piece here to line up with the straight part there, so they're in parallel. All right, now we're going to put this back down. I'm going to make sure this makes it into here. And a lot of moving parts here. So first, make sure you get this top part in. And then we'll fold this down. Make sure it's all lined up. The foot should be straight. And once you have it lined up, push it in. Now see, this didn't go in, so we're going to get that rotated and lined up with the foot. So it should look like that on both sides. Same thing on this side. This one didn't go all the way. There's a little bit of wiggle room, but it is a very tight tolerances in there. So it's a little tough, but there you go. Should look like that. All right, now I have the legs mostly done. I did leave these open because I did forget a step here that prevents it from going perfectly. So you're going to take these panels right here, they're going to fold downwards. If you don't do that, you're going to have trouble later getting it collapsed completely. So that's why you need to put those down. That'll allow you to fold these knees all the way down. And now you can come to the back, and these panels will fold up and in and into here, and it should sit nice and flat like that. All right, same on this side. Fold this up and in, and it should sit nice and flat. So there you go. So have these pieces kind of folded upwards and out of the way. And we're going to rotate this entire thing. Make sure you have your legs straight. So rotate the leg all the way back. There's a couple of pegs here, so you got to kick this peg out, and that's going to peg in to the side of the leg right here. So rotate this all the way down. And again, make sure you have these extended, or you're going to have a hard time getting this in. But rotate this down, and then get that peg in. And then here, there's a little circular peg that's going to fit right into the side of the leg. So line that all up and give it a little squeeze. And it should sit nice and secure. This piece right here is actually sitting in a groove. This piece that was moving before. So that one has to be right in that spot, but this one doesn't have to be extended. So you can collapse that one down and just kind of set it there so it doesn't look so ugly. Right? So that's one leg, nice straight tread tanks here. So if you don't have the tank treads straight like that, then you know you didn't do something right. All right, so we'll do the same thing on this side. Open up that panel, rotate this all the way around, get that peg in, actually both pegs in. So make sure it's all lined up. And then give it a nice squeeze. Go ahead and take the toes. They're going to fold down and sit on the back here. All the way down. All right, come to the front here. We're going to take this piece right here. Make sure you have this all the way down. This is going to fold downwards. This can be a little bit tricky, but you're going to get this pegged in to the sides of this. So these two pegs on the outside of this are going to go into the side of this piece here. So get that lined up. And once you have it centered, go ahead and squeeze that together. And it should sit flat like that. So you have that at the front of the tank, and then this piece is going to come down and sit straight this way, and then this is going to peg in right here. So push this in. You might have to hold it, but there you go. So it just pegs in right there. So that's what the front of the tank should look like. Kind of cool. Go ahead and open up this piece here. And this is just going to sit on top. It doesn't really peg in. It just sits on top of this. So it should look something like that. Take your gun from earlier. We're going to rotate this to the outside so it sits this way. And this is going to end up sitting inside, but let's leave that up for now. Come to the bottom here. You're going to fold out this tab right there that's going to fit in that slot right here. And this is why I mentioned the head is best if you use the shielded one, because now it's exposed. It does cover up with this, but still it's a little exposed. The best head to use is that shielded one. All right, so you get this down and into here. And then you can take this gun, and this can just sit straight on top of here, and basically just rests on top of here. You know, it doesn't really peg in or anything. And there you have Monocrat in his tank mode. Really, really impressive. It's really heavy. It's filled with die cast. About this entire lower half of the leg from here down is die cast. There's also some die cast in the upper body, but because of all that, it is very hefty. Really, really hefty. It does roll really nicely on those 6 wheels that you have on the bottom there. It's a great looking tank. Here's the back. Got that nice detail there. Oh, and that popped out there. Here's the front. You can turn on this light up feature there. So it looks like he's firing or getting ready to fire. You have this, which you can actually articulate up and down however you like. Unfortunately, there is no rotation on the turret. That's just how this is designed. But really, really nice. I really like how this turned out in its vehicle mode. And for a size comparison, I, again, don't have anything appropriate. This is an absolutely massive tank. But here is the Transform Element version of Nemesis Prime. He's shorter in length, height, and width, obviously. But this is a gigantic tank. I'm not sure what it would scale with in terms of alt mode. If there are any other alt mode figures from the Bumblebee movie that's going to look good with this. But there you go for a comparison. So final thoughts on the Megatank Monocrat. Let's start with the positives. This thing is painted beautifully and sculpted beautifully. It really is a premium looking, premium feeling product. I am sure this is not the first figure that this company has made. They probably go under a different name. More than likely a KO company that's gone into making, their own figure here. So I don't know which company, but I would venture to say it's not their first rodeo. So really nice details on this guy. I do like the accessories. The sword looks really, really nice. I like the blaster there. The alternate heads work really well. I like the light up features. That all looks good. The tank mode also looks great. I do wish the turret would turn. So negatives wise, I wish there was a little bit more playability with the tank mode. But that's really my only complaint. A really fun figure. I mean, I think it's a little bit of a chore to transform because it's large and heavy. But for the most part, knockout figure and a really kind of show piece that will show in your collection no matter where you have it displayed. So that's really it for today. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.